Okay, so day 30 of Stitches of Summer, and we're moving on to some fairly advanced techniques. So these all kind of come under the bracket of needle weaving, because that's essentially what you're doing. So first of all, I'm going to show you a needle weaving bar, which is probably the easiest one to do. But now I've said that, I'm going to mess it up. So first thing you need to do is sort out a scaffold of some kind, something to support your work. So I'm just going to do a loop of trash thread. It can be whatever thread you've got going, the end of a stitch or whatever. So you just need a loop to support your main thread. So I'm going to bring that in down here somewhere and go through the loop and then back down like that. So I've created a bar, and then I'm going to come in just next to where I exited like that, and it's called needle weaving because that's what you do. So you go through and behind, and then the other way, and essentially you fill the bar with stitches. And this is easier if you've got a needle that doesn't have a point. If you've got a blunt needle, which is a kind of a darning needle instead of a sewing one, you don't want to catch the fabric. Just want to weave through your bar. Now this is needle weaving at its very simplest. And you can't really do this for more than one stitch worth, so one loop. Anything more than this, you need a bit more support to work on. Okay, so moving on from needle weaving bar, we're going to Picot or Picot, or whichever way you want to pronounce it. It's a French word, so Picot is probably correct. So we're going to start with an open Picot, and instead of creating a loop of spare thread, you need a needle or a long pin. So place that into your fabric like that. Just change that angle slightly. There you are. Right, and for an open Picot, you start fairly wide to one side and go behind your pin, and then the same distance to the other side. And then come over and do that again. Not get completely tangled up. Now, depending on how big you want your leaf or your petal to be, you can do that as many times as you like. So just make sure that your upright stitches are fairly separate, which makes the weaving part easier. So we come in again to one side and start weaving as possible. And again, I've got a pointed needle, so it's catching the fabric, which I don't want to do. Okay. So once you get to the top, weave through a couple more times, just where it's bundled together. Like that, just to finish it. And then hopefully when you remove your pin, you've got yourself a petal or a leaf, whichever you want to use. And as with the needle weaving bar, you can then anchor that down somewhere to create some shape or some movement in whatever you're making. Okay, so that's an open picot because it's got an open base, and a closed picot is, well, the opposite really. So start at the bottom quite close to your pin, all the way around, and then up to the top, and you start weaving from the top this time. So just make sure you're getting through the layers. It's kind of a longer needle weaving bar. Come on. So you're just going to go in and out of your thread. So this is a needle weaving bar with 3 strands. You're probably not going to get more than 3 for a closed picot. Because you started at the top, you're not going to be anchoring the top unless you come back and do that with a separate stitch. So pretty much at the bottom. Now I'm going to drop through the back of that and remove the pin, so I've got this little slim leaf, which again I can come back with a spare stitch, an extra stitch, and just catch the top. Or you can start weaving from the bottom if you really want to, but this way it gives you more freedom to leave it loose and let it hang and do what it wants to do. So that is a open and closed picot.